Hello, everyone, and good evening, and welcome to Animal Advocates Radio Voices Carry for Animals, number 512 podcast this evening. Going live stream from Podbean Podcast app. And I want to welcome all you aboard. And if you're listening from the Podbean Podcast web, uh, I hope you enjoy the show. Keep spreading the word and you keep inviting people and your friends and other advocates and the more of us that come together, the stronger we become. And that's what Mama Bear always says, and she's joining us. And Mama Bear, welcome. Thanks for all your support. But if you're on listening from the web, you can join us in the live chat room here on Podbean Podcast app. And there's just a couple simple steps to take, and that is go to Google Play or the App Store and install, or if you already have it, and then search for Voices Carry for Animals, and you're going to follow. So that'll put you right into the app. And every Thursday, you'll get a notification on your phone, your laptop, your iPad, or your tablet that the show is starting, and press click to join, and it'll bring you right into the chat room. And you'll really love it because it is so awesome in here, everyone. So, and I also see Desiree's in. All right, Desiree, this is great. I'm just, yes, welcome. And wait for Wayne to show up. Uh, and you got in okay, and that's great. But I just want to go over a couple things here, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Debbie Dahmer, aka Mama Bear, and Mama Bear does care because she's on the air. And thank you all for joining. Everybody that's coming into the chat room, and Michelle's joined us, another Animal Warrior sister. And after this show is downloaded and edited and published, it can be heard on 28 other podcast website and my two YouTube channels, Voices Carry for Animals podcast on YouTube. Subscribe free, and also Animal Advocates Radio podcast on YouTube. And some of these that you want to go back and listen to, because all the shows are on-demand episodes, so you can go back and listen to them and share 24/7. Okay, so on you can go to if you're already a member of iHeart Radio, follower or member. It's also on there. Apple Podcast, Animal Advocates Radio, and Voices Carry for Animals on there two times. Spotify, both Animal Advocates Radio and Voices Carry for Animals. Podparadise.com. And we also have, let's see, I mentioned Amazon, Podbay.fm, Rifonic. These are all the podcast platforms that you could go back and listen to after they are published, okay? And all these shows are listed on there that has come from Blog Talk Radio, Animal Advocates Radio. Got Boomplay, Castro, Castbox, Pocket Cast, Podchaser .fm, Player.fm, Listen Notes, Podcast Addict, Audible, Podcast Republic. This list is great, everyone. I just love this how this podcast has really exploded, and for the good because the animals deserve this. Also on Audible, Podtail.com, Pandora.com, Odyssey, GoodPods.com, Panoply.fm, Podscan.fm, Audible .com, the podcast collaborative.com. This is just great. So keep it going, keep the word getting out there. And in this podcast, in this chat room, and Aloha has joined us. Hello, Aloha, and Darla, and my mother, Patricia, aka Moose. Hi, Moose. And thank you for all your continuous support here. And but anyway, all the shows are archived. So, like I said, go back and listen to them anytime. You can make comments when you're in this chat room. You could share the show right from in here to the other social media sites. You can interact with other listeners in here. You can speak to the guest. If you're coming in from the app, there's a phone icon or a mic icon on the lower right hand corner. Press that. That alerts me. We want that will alert me that you want to come on air. Okay, okay. Go if Wayne. Okay, you're in Podbean. Go to if you got the app, press that on
He,
your phone. Oh
he
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah,
Hey,
Desert.
I'm so sorry. He
No
doesn't have the
problem.
app. He's going. I had him join through the web, and just signed in, but he's just stuck there, and I don't know what to tell him to do either. And I'm so very sorry, everyone.
Oh no, no, no problem. I can lead him. If he can probably hear me right now. But what he'll need to do, it's real easy from his phone. He has to use the same um, email address as he did on the web.
He did.
Okay,
He did.
okay.
Yes.
So now he can go to either the App Store and install that if he doesn't already have it, but if he has it, and then go to search Voices Carry for Animals podcast
Okay.
and then follow, okay, and then he's in. That's
Okay. So
how
he
easy it is.
has to do it through an app. He can't do it
Yes,
through the web.
definitely. Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll get him to do that right now.
Okay, great. And just tell him now he could come in from that angle, okay? What he once he puts the Voices Carry for Animals podcast,
Yep.
and he could come in that way. And there's also a live link on Podbean, and it's going to show all the current shows that's on air right now. Okay, click
Okay.
that, and that will bring him in the chat room too.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Hang tight just a second.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. Oh, I'm so glad you showed up. Yes, this is no problem at all. Because when I was first here, I was a newbie at it too, and you should see what I was doing. I was trying to run both chat rooms at the same time and shut down the show. So we live and learn, and this is all new. So to a lot of you, and that's why I'm here for all of you. So try that, okay? And we're looking forward to have him come on. But anyway, everyone, if you like you said, if you're listening from the web, the Podbean podcast web, you can start up an account, a free account, and what you want to do is go up to podbean.com and then press login, and then once you log in, you're going to go to create account. Okay, and you press that, you'll need your full name or nickname and then your email address and create a password and then click I'm not a robot and then create account. And next step, last step on the web is to follow Voices Carry for Animals podcast and you're in. Okay. So and then like I said, if you want to come over here to the app, then you have to go and download the app, Podbean Podcast app from either Google Play or the App Store and install that free. And then you follow Voices Carry for Animals podcast and you're in. And you will get alerted once these episodes are published. you will get alerted also that the episode has been published, and you can also listen and share 24/7. And all these archive shows are listed on there from Blog Talk Radio. Before, it was from June 2014 up to March of 2018. I was on TS Radio Network with Marty Oakley, and sadly, she passed away April the 1st of 2023, and may she rest in peace. She was the grassroots of it all, and I do have a tribute on my uh, go to Voices Carry for Animals .podbean.com, and there's a tribute there, and all the former 163 shows I was a host on her network is on there. That's also on podchaser.com, the TS Radio Network, Voices Carry for Animals, and also buzzsprout.com, and her former hosts from there for elder abuse and guardianship abuse are still running her shows. But anyway, you can share the show in here. Keep pressing the like button in there, everyone, because it keeps building up this podcast. It's going on a year. February the 20th, next month, already on Podbean Podcast app and web. So that's a great feeling too. And but everyone, welcome more. We're trying to get Wayne in here, and he's I know he's had a big day today. And everyone, welcome aboard. And Mama Cat, did you want to bring up anything before I'm trouble to try to connect with him and bring him in? Because Desi works at the Animal Wellness Action, and I can tell you what we're going to be discussing tonight this evening. We got the federal laws in legislation for 2025 and 2026 that's in there, and we're going to be discussing them, following up. The first one is Block Save Our Bacon Act, H.R. 4673, Food Security and Farm Protection Act, Senate Bill 1326. Okay, we want to get that blocked. And number two is Fighting Inhumane Gambling and High Risk Trafficking Fight Act, Senate Bill 1454 and H.R. 3946. Here's another to Save America's Forgotten Equines Safe Act, H.R. 1661 and Senate Bill 775. And that's been important. There has last time I looked, they had 223 co-sponsors. So if you hear any bills that I'm mentioning, you can please call. This is a nationwide number for you to call and ask for co-sponsors on the Senate side and also on the rep side. Okay, and that number is area code 202-224-3121, and that is a nationwide number. Give your zip code and then ask to speak to your representative or senator. If you can't speak to them, leave a message with the legal aid. And also after after hours and weekends, you can leave voicemails. Or if you prefer, you can write them letters, make appointments with them, email them, and you could go from there. Whatever you're comfortable with, but the more voices out there is the better. Okay, and then we're still looking there. Yeah, Michelle, this is very important legislation information tonight. I'm going to be looking it up because Congress is going into session very soon, and they're going to be voting, and we want to get the vote out there. So encourage your family, your brothers, sisters, neighbors, coworkers to take part because these bills are like the SAFE Act has been going on for so long, and it needs to pass. Just considering, the horse slaughter out there, and get it gone. And Save America's Forgotten Equines. That's a safe act. The number four is the Greyhound Protection Act, HR 5017. Here's another one. So I have an account set up with Congress.gov, and you could put these bill numbers in there and keep track. Start up an account. You can get alerts on them when there's new co-sponsors. Please share on the social media like I do. and ask your friends, Facebook friends, or on LinkedIn or whatever social media X that you to help you to share this and get the more co-sponsors here because it means so much, and the more out there the better. Let's see all these pass because they've been going on so long, especially the fact the Fight Act, and they're fighting to block the Bacon Act, and the Safe Act that's been going on for so long. And the longer these bills take to pass, the longer the animals suffer. They always pay the price.
Ha-
Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
So I don't know if Wayne's having trouble or not, but I can step in here. I am not Wayne. I am far from Wayne, but I
Oh,
can.
no problem, Desiree. Welcome aboard. This is great.
I'm sorry.
Hey, I totally understand it. I can help them too, and I know you'll do great. And you go ahead, Desiree. Tell like I said, welcome aboard, and I totally understand. We'll get him in here.
Yeah, he
If
like I
he
said,
could,
he got home 5 till 7, and then I am. Oh, look, there he is! Thank goodness,
he's in. Oh,
he's
there he
in.
is! Victory, victory.
So let's hope he knows how to. Are you
I'm
there,
here.
Wayne?
Can you hear me?
Oh,
All
lovely.
right, victory. This
No
is
one
great.
has to listen to me, so I'm going to let Wayne
hey,
take it over then. See you later.
hey, hey, this is great, Wayne. This is awesome. You know that?
Yeah, Debbie, it's great to hear your voice.
Yeah, welcome back. I mean, it's been since Blog Talk Radio, but you're always welcome back. And great interviews, and just great being connected with Animal Wellness Action, everybody. And we're going to be discussing some very important legislation that's happening, right, Wayne?
We sure are, Debbie. Lots at stake for animals.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so glad to see you in here. This is wonderful. We'll get you in there one way or another. The first guest of the year, I had four guests on my first show, January 8th, and the last one couldn't get connected for some reason. Didn't use the same email. It was like 5 minutes till seven got her in. So it's not the first time, okay?
Yes. Well, good. I'm
Yep.
glad. Misery loves company here. I'm sorry to be late.
Oh
I
no, no,
apologize.
not at all. To no worries, because Wayne Pacelle, everyone, he's the president and founder at Animal Wellness Action, and also the president at the Center for a Humane Economy. And always welcome back. He's working out there hard for the animals, and he's got a great staff going on, super team players, and visit them on both of them on Facebook, on X. I mean, the websites. There's so much you could check out, right, Wayne? But go
Oh,
ahead
our
and
website has so much
yes,
content. We're really a very substantive group, Debbie. We've got so much information about the systemic use of animals and why we can do better as a society than to harm them.
that's right. They all deserve better lives and futures, and that's what we're doing. We're fighting for them to make sure. Because if we look the other way, the problem's just going to escalate, get worse, and it's not right for them, right? I mean, we have to do something. Yep.
We
Keep
can't
it
be
up because
bystanders.
it means so much.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we've got to, when you understand the magnitude and severity of the problem, I think any person of conscience wants to do something about it. And, I know that's why you do your show, Debbie. And it's why I every day wake up at Animal Wellness Action and the Center for Humane Economy and think, how are we going to solve these problems of factory farming, animal testing, um, wildlife management abuses like shooting barred owls, spectator sports like dogfighting and cockfighting, abuses in the fashion and athletic wear industry, killing kangaroos to make shoes. These are all real serious moral problems, and it's up to our human ingenuity and our moral concern to figure them out and to stop these practices.
That's right, because they're cruel and they're inhumane. We have to look at it and say, would we want to be in the situation they are in? And the answer is going to be no. We're trying to get away from cruelty. Get them out of harm's way. Let them enjoy their life, not in anxiety and fear. Let them live in freedom and comfort. They so well deserve, all of them. You
No,
know,
they really do. I mean, this is what during our lifetimes, Debbie, there were people earlier in our lives who thought, well, animals don't have feelings. They don't have emotions. They operate purely by instinct, as if they were programmed just in some endless quest for food, space, and mates. And science tells us, as well as our own practical experience with animals, that they have the wide range of emotions that we have. They feel joy and excitement, and they also can feel terror and pain and fear. And if we recognize that those are similar attributes, attributes that we can recognize in our own human community, where we want to increase the joy and pleasure in life for people, but we don't want to cause them misery and harm and pain and suffering. Why wouldn't we extend that same set of principles to animals, whether they're owls or they're pigs or they're kangaroos or they're beagles or they're primates? They all have lives that matter to them. Their lives matter to them as much as our lives matter to us. And this is one of the great things about human beings, is that we have so much creativity. We have so much ingenuity. We can lead good lives. We can clothe ourselves. We can get enough food to have joyful and functional eating experiences. We have so many opportunities for recreation and enjoyment in life. We can conduct science in ways that improves our health and the health of animals without making victims of the animals. You and I, Debbie, I think see the world in such clear ways. It's such simple thinking that do unto others as they would as do unto others as others would do unto you. I mean, it's just so simple.
that's right. And look at them and say, hey, I mean, their animals are so awesome. I look at them and I say, you know what? How could so many people be so cruel and heartless and not even, think about it, how they're injuring that animal or what they're putting them through? And it's like, why? And you look at it, and it is. I mean, I've done these shows for almost 12 years into June, and I'm hearing all this. I mean, nightmares how they're getting treated, and front lines with this stuff. And there's zero excuses for it. Oh, I had a bad day or had a fight with my wife or husband or whatever. There's no excuse for it. You cannot take it out on an innocent, defenseless, helpless animal that's a living being because they feel pain just like we do. They see, they eat, they walk. They have a different language, but they need better out there, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. I'm not going to stop this podcast. I got on Blog Talk Radio last January at the end, and I said I'm not giving up Voices Carry for Animals podcast. There's no way. So I picked myself back up, got it in high gear, and said, I'm still on a roll. The mama bear is on a roll. Okay, catch me if you can. Right? Yep. And will not give up. And all the more action takers, everyone, all you listeners out there, the better and stronger we become. Okay? Get out there and get your voices because being silent is no solution for changes to be made. Okay? It's just spinning your wheels if you don't do nothing about it. Right? At White Wing, if you think about it, if you do nothing, nothing changes. Expect no changes.
Yeah. No, I think
Yep.
this is really one of the most challenging, but also one of the most rewarding causes in the world. We've got many important causes to make our society safer for everybody and to have a humane world for all of us. We want to cure diseases. We want to, feed the hungry. We want to protect this earth that we all, draw our breath from and drink the water from the earth. All of these things are very important, but we share the planet with a million other species, a minimum, right? I mean, there may be more than a million species, but we're just one species on this little blue-green marble of a planet spinning in this vast galaxy, in this almost endless universe. And those animals are on the ride with us. And why is it acceptable, just because we happen to have the power in the relationship, for us to eat them, to shoot them for fun, to clothe ourselves with them, to watch them kill each other? I mean, these are things that any thinking, conscious, morally concerned person should evaluate. And to have really acute problems like factory farming, where animals are jammed in cages and crates where they can't move. One of the things that I think you wanted to talk about tonight, Debbie, was the attack on some key state farm animal welfare laws that several members of Congress are pushing. They're calling it the Save Our Bacon Act. And the purpose of that legislation in Congress is to overturn the most important farm animal protection laws that millions of American voters enacted by casting their ballots for Proposition 12 in California in 2018 and Question 3 in Massachusetts in 2016. Voters in Massachusetts said, we don't want veal calves, laying hens, and breeding sows to be so severely confined that they can't even stand up, lie down, turn around, and extend their limbs. So the ballot measure essentially affirmed a ban on production in those states by those means. So you can't keep a pig in a gestation crate. You can't keep a laying hen in a tiny little battery cage. The legislation, or the law as passed, also said that you can't sell eggs, pork, or veal in those states, no matter where the farming occurs, if they're going to use those caging and crating methods. Fine to sell the pork and the eggs in the state, but just don't confine the animal so tightly that she cannot move. And 78%, nearly 79% of voters favored that in Massachusetts. I mean, that's an incredible number. I mean, you don't ever see elections that are competitive with that kind of result. That shows that this was a consensus position in the state of Massachusetts. Also, it was nearly that strong a vote, nearly a 2/3 yes vote in California on Prop 12. And California is the number one agriculture state in the country by a long shot. 9 of the 10 biggest counties by agricultural commerce revenues are in California. I mean, this is a giant of an agriculture state. And it was a landslide vote. So now comes Congress, pushed by the National Pork Producers Council, the trade association for the pork industry, that says we want to overturn that law. That we, a handful of lawmakers, many of whom don't even know the difference between a gestation crate and a farrowing crate, they know very little about the agriculture industry, yet they want to make a decision and substitute their judgment, the judgment of about 25 co-sponsors in the House on the Save Our Bacon Act, and I think it's 9 senators in the Senate on the analog bill there. They want to have those 34 people substitute their judgment for millions of American voters who, in a free and fair election, decided by landslide margins that this is no way to treat an animal.
No.
These laws are in place now, Debbie. They are working. Prop 12 is in effect. Question 3 is in effect. Every Walmart, every Kroger, every McDonald's, every Cracker Barrel, every Sonic, every food retailer, every hot dog vendor, every little convenience store has to abide by the law. And they're doing it. and it's working. And then 34 members of Congress say, no, we know better. We're going to overturn this. They tried to overturn it in the federal courts. It went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, and the U.S. Supreme Court, with Neil Gorsuch writing the opinion from the majority, said that California, and by proxy Massachusetts, acted in ways in terms of lawmaking that were perfectly constitutional, that they did not exceed their state authority, that the production ban and the sales bans apply just within the state's boundaries and no further. But they're not obligated to take pork that comes from extreme confinement operations in Iowa or Minnesota or Indiana or any other state. And thousands of farmers adopted more humane housing systems to supply those markets. They collectively invested billions of dollars to have access to those markets. And now the lawmakers want to pull the rug out from under them and drive them out of business. I mean, what's amazing, Debbie, is that when you're for animals, not only do you help animals, but you typically help people. When you stop dogfighting and cockfighting, you don't just stop that cruelty, you stop criminals from operating and engaging in a wide range of other criminal activities, because their other crimes are commingled with their crimes against the animals. And in this case of Prop 12 and Question 3 and their implementation and the attempt to unwind those arbitrarily with no good reason, they're going to hurt American farmers. They're not just going to hurt the animals, they're going to hurt American farmers. And this is coming up next month in the House Agriculture Committee. The committee leader wants to overturn those ballot measures, even though hundreds of lawmakers have already signed letters to him saying, we want you to keep your hands off this. This is working great. This is just a reflection of our humanity. The states have rights. The federal government can't just willy-nilly come in and wipe out what states want to do. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay, okay,
I can't hear
Wayne.
anybody.
I can hear you
Okay,
now.
yeah, okay, yeah. You know what I did? I actually put on mute and forgot to put it back on. But I'm back, and but anyway, with you can all hear me now.
Loud and clear.
Can you hear? Yes. But with the listeners into the chat room, education is the best key. Awareness, prevention, how they can help out. The Save Our Bacon Act, and it's terrible what's going on and how they're being treated. With all this crammed up in these crates and can't have no social life. Their lives mean more than that. I mean, treat them with dignity and respect. Have their animal rights granted, not ignored. So we have to get this blocked, everyone, and do something because we have to do it. That's why we're all out here fighting to do what's right, not what's wrong. Let animal rights be granted, not ignored. Let them live in peace and comfort and away from anxiety. Get them out of harm's way because they deserve it. And they're innocent animals too. I mean, you look at them and you're like, whoa, how could they? We don't want our pets at home be treated like that, or any other animal out there. And it is happening. So we have to open our eyes and take that action is the key. Right, Wayne? We cannot give up.
No, we
Yeah.
live in a participatory democracy that we have elected officials that are supposed to represent the public. They represent them based on, votes that occur. And these lawmakers, rightfully claim office if they win a majority of votes. But with the ballot measures like Question 3 in Massachusetts and Prop 12 in California, the voters approved these measures. Why is it okay that we recognize the elections of these lawmakers, but they don't recognize the expression of voter sentiment on these issue questions, these ballot measures? I mean, you can't say, if the vote goes my way, honor me, but if the vote doesn't go my way, then, forget about it. And they must see that this was a normal constitutional process. We had votes on these issues and they want to arbitrarily overturn them, and they have a horrible case. We have a detailed report on our website at animalwellnessaction.org and centerforhumaneeconomy.org about the attempt to override Prop 12. We just deconstruct it from an economic perspective, from the science of animal welfare perspective, from a states' rights perspective. I mean, the Congress, these small number of lawmakers in Congress, want to overturn the state laws, but they don't want to replace the state laws with a federal standard of care for animals. They want no standards at all. They want no state laws. They want no federal laws. It's ruthless, frankly, how they want to treat the animals.
Mm. And there's no excuses for it. It's like, why? We're all on this crazy place called Earth temporarily there, Wayne. All of us, humans,
Yes,
animals, and we got to make the best of it,
we sure do.
because and do what's right, know what's wrong, and let them get by with it and accept it, and just go on like they're nothing. Or sweep it under the carpet. They don't
Yes.
mean nothing. Look the other way. And these
Yeah.
animals, they all deserve better. Doing these shows, 512 this evening, and they all deserve better from every angle. And
Well,
it's
there are a lot of people who don't want to think about how animals raised for food are treated. And, there are many of us who see what's happening and think, well, I don't want to participate in that anymore. I don't want to have those animals killed for food when I can eat something else. But if you are consuming animal products, the very least we can do is see that they're not imprisoned in small cages and crates that are barely larger than their own bodies. So I just can't see the reason or the rational thinking that would drive someone to try to overturn a law approved by millions of people in a free and fair election to give animals enough space to turn around. I mean, it feels to me like those people are exhibiting a level of miserly behavior, that it's really greed, that they're being influenced by special interests rather than by the public's interest. I mean, the National Pork Producers Council is not the authority on these issues. It's certainly not the authority on democratic decision making. They had their chance to defeat the ballot measure. They spent money to try to defeat Prop 12, and they spent money trying to defeat Question 3, and they lost. And then it's their right to question the measure in the courts if they think they've got legal claims. They initiated, and their surrogates initiated, more than 21 lawsuits. One of them got up to the Supreme Court, and the court said, and all the other courts prior to that said, the state had the authority to write these laws. They're proper. And now they lost there. They lost 21 straight cases in the courts. They lost 5 of 5 ballot measures. And now they're going to Congress to have a small number of people overturn the votes of millions of Americans. And I'll tell you, Debbie, they've been losing in Congress for the last 10 years on this issue, and they're going to lose again because
Yes,
the American
good.
public doesn't go for this kind of nonsense. And people, whether you're a vegan or a carnivore or somewhere in between, all animals deserve humane treatment.
That's
Perhaps
right.
perhaps especially those animals who are raised for food, right? Because we're asking so much of them. They are sacrificing for human appetite, and the least we could do is give them a decent life.
That's right. Living. I mean, what? How hard is that? How difficult is that? It's not. And we just, they don't deserve. I've seen so many photos and videos of them, and they're so sad and heartbreaking. Just crammed up, can't move. What is going on here? I mean, we wouldn't like that, would we? No, definitely not. And seeing some of this cruelty behind the scenes. I've seen some stuff on YouTube, slaughterhouses. I had to turn it off. I made me sick, looking at this stuff and how they were treated, and some of the stuff going through these news feeds, on X and Facebook and LinkedIn, and you look at it and he's like, whoa. And I've had so many of them tell me, oh, I can't look at that. And, can you please not put, I said, that's the truth and reality. Do you think I want to see it? No. I take my anger into action. I let my voice be heard in whatever I got to do. I try to help out where I can, and encourage other people to help me because I can't do it alone. I do this podcast, and who makes this podcast? All the great guests, the former guests, and you, and the listeners, and the callers, and making people aware to open their eyes. What's going on behind the scenes, behind closed doors, and it's an ugly picture. Okay, there's nothing pretty about it, and we have to do something because we can't. You look at this stuff, Wayne, and it goes back year after year, decade after decade, and we're into 2026. Let's fix the animal cruelty problems in 2026. Do you agree? Let's do it. We could do it. The more of us and
Yes.
of us, hey, we're power in numbers. And Mama Cat always says strength in numbers, and that's so true. So encourage people, tell them to wake up and smell the coffee, what's really going on, you know?
Well, it's not just playing defense too,
Mm,
Debbie. We also have to play offense. And we at Animal Wellness Action have initiated 17 different policy initiatives to improve the lives of animals. And several of them are in the jurisdiction of the Agriculture Committee, which is going to be taking up the Farm Bill in late February. And we're really encouraging the Agriculture Committee to uh, accept these bills and include them as amendments to the Farm Bill. And if the committee doesn't do it on its own, we will ask members of the committee to offer them as amendments and force a vote on these issues. These are very sensible, universally popular reforms. One is to strengthen our national law against dogfighting and cockfighting. The bill is called the Fight Act. It's H.R. 3946 in the House and S. 1454 in the Senate. And it has a series of provisions to make it more um, effective for law enforcement to act to interdict these crimes and to break up these criminal organized syndicates that are running dogfighting rings and cockfighting rings and trafficking the animals across the globe to die in fighting pits across the world. And we have more than 1,000 endorsing organizations. We have almost the entire national law enforcement community, the National Sheriff's Association, the National District Attorneys Association, the major county sheriffs of America, the rural and small sheriffs association. We've got just about everybody behind it. We've got even the egg industry and key poultry organizations that don't want cockfighting birds to be spreading disease to threaten their commercial flocks. We've got the gaming industry that doesn't like all the illegal gambling that occurs online for dogfights and cockfights. This should be a no-brainer. And I want to ask your listeners to be sure to contact your senators and your representatives. We need all the senators and all the representatives to support the Fight Act, but they're only going to act if they hear from you, right? They've got thousands of bills that are being, um, you know, considered at some level, but the way that they get taken up is if citizens call the issue to their attention and say, hey, I really want you to act on this because it's the right and good and proper thing to do. In fact, this Fight Act is not just an anti-cruelty initiative, it's a pro-farmer measure. It's a pro-law enforcement measure. It's a pro-public safety measure. It's got so many dimensions to it to really, to drive this support of more than 1,000 agencies and organizations that back it. And that's just one, Debbie. We've got the Greyhound Protection Act, which is so important to close out greyhound racing, and the SAFE Act to stop the live export of horses for slaughter for human consumption. We should not be killing horses for consumption, not for human food, not for pet food. These horses were not raised to be killed for food, and the long distance transport to Mexico is so inhumane. It's been documented over and over again.
Yeah, the Safe Act. And the last time, and all the listeners out there, please call your representative. This nationwide number. There's 200. The last time I looked, because I got a count with Congress.gov, HR 1661, the Safe Act has got 223 co-sponsors right now. That seems like a lot, and it is a lot. But we want to keep making them calls because the more co-sponsors, the better. And on the Senate side, has only got 4 co-sponsors, and that's not good. So please call your senators up, email them, ask them to be a co-sponsor for these bills, and get the numbers up there so we can get a floor vote. Getting introduced is great, these bills, but we have to push farther and get them voted on, get some real action taken. That's where the key is. Take action. And spread the word out there. I've made reels on the Safe Act, also the Wild Horse and Burro Protection Act. That's the helicopters, tax funded, taxpayer funded, and frontline animal cruelty. And there's no co-sponsors on that on the Senate side, but last time I looked, it was like 17 co-sponsors on the House side. So there's another issue. There's all these federal bills, and let's see them. Let's hit the victory stage and do the victory dance. These animals can't thank us, but when they see their lives and futures changing for the better, that's when you see it and you know you are not spinning your wheels. So use your voice, everyone. You have a choice to use your voice. Don't be silent because that's not going to get us nowhere. Okay? And I keep telling, and I'll spread it. I'm on X and LinkedIn and Facebook, and not, this podcast is not the only thing, but I try to get it out there, and sometimes I reshare stuff because not everybody's on social media the same time and days. It gets so far down the news feed, so you see something, I tag a lot, on these shows and stuff. I have a lot of help, and I appreciate all of you that's helping me out with promoting it because I can't do it alone. I'm a one woman operation on this podcast, but and also the pod being queen. Okay, I ran for that. I don't think I got it yet, but I want to keep going, and whatever I can do, I will do it. And helping to make changes in the comfort of your own home and phone and computer. And if you have fax or copiers or whatever, it cannot get no easier. I make sure I call my representatives and senators, and if I can't get a hold of them, I leave a message with the legal aids, okay, or write emails, and it doesn't take that long. You get into use it, and you get fast at it. I could bring up 4 tabs at once and start copy and paste, and the different bills or whatever I need to do. Just like on my voicescarryforanimals.com, subscribe free because I got the bills listed there and links that's going to Congress.gov, so you can check them out. Start account, get alerts on your phone or on your emails that any changes in the bill, amendments, co-sponsors. It is awesome, and that's Congress.gov. Put that bill into HR 1661 and look it right up because that and alert me in my emails. Whatever bills I put in there, the Wild Horse and Burro Protection Act, HR 4356, I believe it is, and but no Senate support on that yet. And that's helicopters, and that is very cruel too. They get traumatized, and oh, it's terrible, Wayne. It is terrible. I've seen the videos of that, and it makes me sick looking at them. And that's taxpayer funded frontline animal cruelty. That's what I think it is. You know,
Absolutely.
and it's not right. So put yourself in them, because the wild horses and bird, they've been around a very long time, and they'll be around. Let them live in comfort and away from them helicopters getting chased. And the horse slaughter, look at, they're shipping them to Mexico and Canada, Japan, you know, and the way they're treated. I've seen videos on that, how they're transported. Oh, it's disgusting. You look at it and you say, why this treatment? Why they don't deserve this at all. So what we have to do better, everyone out there, and the more of us, and spread the word, press that share, share, share. Pressing like doesn't serve no justice. If you're mad at, or the laughing thing, or hey, it doesn't serve no justice. That share will get in the news feed, and then it could go viral. I've seen petitions out there and kept track of them, Wayne. 10,000 in within 24 hours, and that's something.
Yeah. Well, Debbie,
Ten thousand.
yeah, I
Yeah.
do think that's important, Debbie, but oftentimes those petitions don't go to the lawmakers. The most important thing to do is to actually send a letter to them or make a phone call to their office, because the petitions sometimes are just kind of a dead end. I mean, there's a lot of support for them, and that shows that a lot of people care.
Yes. Yes. You're
But
so right. Because
yeah,
now you got to, the petition holder. If they don't do something about it, download the signatures, meet with the representative, then guess what?
exactly.
It's just floating out there in space.
Exactly.
Cyberspace, and that's
Exactly.
not good. So yeah, you're right. The phone calls and the letters and emails, whatever you got to do, take some time, and you could write them. I mean, just take the time, and you don't have to get irate, or be professional and polite, and you'll get a lot farther. That's what I do. I want to be professional and polite about it, and that way my word gets over. And they'll listen, and they
Yeah.
do listen, because
Pe-
I've had it happen so many times.
yes,
Yeah.
Debbie, if somebody goes to the animalwellnessaction.org website, they can go to, on the navigation bar at the top, they can go to Contact Congress. And if you go to Contact Congress, then you'll see all of the bills that we are working on and that we're providing so much support for, and we're educating lawmakers about them. And then if people come in, it's actually, the navigation bar says get involved, and then you look at the drop down menu, Contact Congress, and you'll see crackdown on animal cruelty. That's the FBI Animal Cruelty Task Force Act to
Yeah. I
create a
mean that.
special set of FBI agents to focus on animal cruelty. Or you'll see the barred owl resolution to stop the barred owl kill, or the Fight Act to combat animal fighting, and on and on. You go to that site and you hit Act Now, you can tailor a letter to your two senators and your representative, and that really helps us when we're lobbying these offices. I was on Capitol Hill all day today, got back just in time to do your show, and when they are getting calls and letters from people back home, that makes all the difference in the world in terms of how they see that issue. So it really does matter.
Yes, it does. And check out the website. And I also wanted to bring up, Wayne, the Animal Wellness Podcast.
Yes.
That's on Podbean. So if you're already following me, the Voices Care for Animals podcast, go and follow Animal Wellness Podcast. Just search it, follow, and then you'll be alerted when they have shows. Just had one, was it yesterday? I think it was. But I put
Yes.
that on the website, on my voicescareforanimals.com. And after the show gets downloaded and I edit it and publish, that's when I'm going to put all them links in there, okay? And I'm going to put that one in there, take action also, because once it gets published, it's going to shoot out everywhere, and they can be heard on all these different podcast websites. The information's there. Go back and listen 24/7. You can get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, listen to it if you want to. and
Yes, my
share,
colleague.
make comments. Yes.
Yes, my colleague Joseph Grove, who is the podcast host, does a great job. So thank you for highlighting that really important information source for people, because we all need to continue to be educated and to hear the most learned um, voices, the strongest advocates, because they inspire us to do even more.
Oh yeah, because the voices. I mean, with these platforms, and I seen that, and I said I have to bring that up. Because I'm all about teamwork. Okay, and that's what it takes. The more of us hosts to come together and work together, because I've had so many hosts on different podcasts on here, and we'll continue. And let's work together, host to host, coast to coast, speaking out on air together for all the animals in need and distress, and getting our voices out there, sharing and doing it. I've done several interviews and saying the same thing, so, but keep that podcast going. I see that periodically on your, on the Facebook page, and go in there and share that and listen in, everyone. And if you're already hooked up, following Voices Care for Animals on Podbean podcast app or web, go and follow them and listen to their shows. And they're on demand episodes too, so you can go back and listen to them.
Yes,
So tell Josh is the host. Tell him thank you for all he's doing. That means so much.
yes. Yeah, Joseph
Yes.
does a great job, and just like you do a great job with your show, Debbie.
Oh, thank you so much. I do my best, but I can't do it alone. It takes teamwork all the way, and I
Sure
will
does.
continue. Whatever I could do to help out. Hey, every effort counts out there, everyone. Every effort counts. And like Wayne says, write those, letters and send emails, make them phone calls, make an appointment with them, get to know your representative or senator, and express how you feel. You can even be a creator or author of a bill. Just ask for a constituent bill proposal form, and have all your ducks in a row, and it'll go to draft, get approved, come back, have a bill number, and then you go after more co-sponsors. So it's not that difficult. So we have to do what we can do. A co-author or author or creator of a new law. And they got thousands of laws out there. So that's why we want to keep the pressure going on these very important federal bills that you're doing. And Wayne, look at the outstanding job you're doing. I mean, you're relentless. You're optimistic and proactive. Nothing stops you, and that's the main thing. Nothing will knock you down. You're strong. You're a true warrior, a great man out there.
Well,
And yeah, yep. Real men and real women, real children love animals, and that's a fact. So when you teach them young, and when they grow up to treat animals with dignity and respect, they move through their forward in their adulthood doing the same. Look what we're doing. I know when you was a kid, growing up, teenager, whatever, you never disrespected animals, right? I mean, yeah, I know I always respected them and never hurt them in any way. Pets in the house, and they're spoiled rotten, and that's the way they should be. So, and you look out there, and there's ones out there in need, everyone. So just everybody's at home, and your pets are in a great home, TLC home. There's out there ones out there that are not. They're not so lucky. So stand up for them, be their voice. Just along with the children and the elderly, they don't have a voice. They're helpless, defenseless, you know, and innocent. So whatever we can do, we can, out there with it, Darla said fostering save lives. Yes, it does. You know, visit your local animal shelter. Adopt, don't shop. I've had many shows on that. Spay and neuter your pets, because the sad part about it, there's a crisis in America. The shelters are overcrowded, maximum capacity, and all ages of animals are getting put down. Because of overcrowding. And who pays the price? The animals, and that's the sad part. Because they
yes.
don't have a chance without us. So The
No, they
gray,
don't, Debbie. Well,
no,
listen,
no.
Debbie, I want, anybody who wants to get involved, please go to our websites. I look forward to talking to you the next time. And
Yes,
I'm grateful for all that you do to spread the word, Debbie. And thank you for having me on.
yes. And all now the next time I'm going to send you an email invitation, and then you just click it, and you're in the chat room. So keep following me on the web and the app, okay?
I
And you're
sure
all
will.
set. And that way, next time, because the first time is what you have to go through to get connected to live stream. So after
Yes.
that, once you're in, keep following, and I just get with you, set up a date to come on, you know, and then you click the email invitation or come in from the app, okay? And then because there's several ways that you can get to from the app, everyone that has it downloaded, just press that live link on Podbean Podcast app, and it'll show all the live shows going current, okay? Or else you'll get alerted on your phone, laptop, iPad, tablet that the show's starting up. Click to join, and you're in, okay? And then you can make some, talk to the guests, interact with other listeners. This Podbean podcast, and I bet you Josh loves it too, doesn't he? He has to, because I know I do. I wish I would have found it a long time ago, Wayne. You know, but,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I wish I would have. And if you want to talk longer, because we usually go, from 8 p.m. Eastern to 8:30, and if you want to take any calls, and if you don't mind, you know, because everybody just enjoys this show, and all the ones that's got a super team going on here. But did you want to take any calls or?
Debbie, I've got to get some testimony written. It's due. We've got a bill in Maryland to ban the use of lead ammunition. It's the largest source of lead in our environment, and you've got a volunteer group of 10 million hunters who disperse it over 1 billion acres
Mm,
uh, within the biotic community of the United States, half the land area of the U.S., and they're poisoning about 20 million animals a year. And
whoa.
and then there are probably more than 60 million Americans who are eating game meat, and it has lead that's speckled in the carcasses of the animals that they shoot, or they feed it to their kids. The hunter brings home the meat, gives it to the kids, to the grandparents, to the neighbors, and even to food banks. And the lead is
Mm,
is too small to be seen, but at those levels, still it is deadly for people. Not immediately, but it's a bioaccumulation of the lead that leads to neurological problems. And we've taken lead out of paint, we've taken it out of toys, we took it out of gasoline. Now we need to take it out of ammunition. So I'm
oh
afraid that
yeah.
I've got to run to get that deadline met to get that testimony in. But I'm looking forward to being back with you and your listeners, Debbie.
Oh yes, I can't wait to have you back. You're welcome back anytime. So
Well, thank you.
we'll get used to this new podcast, and there's gonna be nothing, right? I mean, you should see me last year on this thing. I
Yeah.
had some, but yeah, you're always welcome back, and I'll be getting a hold of you, we'll keep going because I always invite my guests back because you just don't want to have them on once and then say goodbye. We want to keep the things not make sure these issues don't fizzle out and go away. We want to keep them up and strong and hot topic,
Yes.
So yeah, and everybody says thank you, Wayne, and keep it up.
Well.
We're standing with you,
I
all the
know you
way.
are. I know you are.
I am,
I love the comments from the listeners.
Yes,
I and by the way, to Michelle, I have heard of the Protein Act by Senator Adam Schiff. Having these alternative proteins are it's just a very important way for us to reduce meat consumption. We can have, if you really like the taste of meat, you want meat. Increasingly, we're going to be able to get it from sources that are not live and whole animals with hearts and brains and ribs. Um, we can grow meat in a laboratory
yeah.
setting,
See, there's
and of course, we have a lot of
all
plant
these
protein.
positive changes. and that's what we need to do with
Yeah.
all of us. It's, we got to look at
Well,
healthier ways and, are living longer. There's so many angles to take,
yes.
so
Well, and
many
someone,
angles.
yeah, Mama Cat said she won't be eating bugs. Well, I won't either, but
You
that's a, that's a,
remember
that,
Mama Cat, right? Former
yeah,
guest many times. She was just on a couple of weeks ago. Hey, she's out there in Colorado where it's cold, taking care of. It was 125 colony cats, down 90 now. She's got a heart of gold out there and
yes,
keeping them warm, So and I told her, I said, I call her Snow Woman because you like snowman down here in Florida. We're going to go down to 28 this weekend. Looks like I won't be sitting on the patio, right?
no,
No, that's freezing cold down here.
yes, no, it is.
So
Well, Debbie,
yep.
listen,
Thank you so much. This
thank
has been
you. Thanks to
this has
everybody for
been
listening. It's
yes.
great to have a community of people who care.
That's right. Yep, and we all do. Got a super team going on here. I couldn't ask for any better, including the guests and everything, the
Yes,
callers and the listeners and all the contacts on all the social media, and just working together to help make a better world to live in for the animals. They so
yes,
well deserve, you
yes,
know. That's right.
absolutely.
But you have a great evening. Keep me informed about that, okay?
I certainly
And
will. I
and I want
certainly
to,
will.
keep spreading that on your website. How to take action. I'll be spreading that all over the place. I
Oh, that's
believe in
great. I
take
really
care.
appreciate that.
Oh yeah, because I got a lot, and I tag a lot too. So
I know
once I
you
get
do.
going, I'm on a roll. The mama bear's on a roll. Catch me if you can.
Yes.
So
Well, listen, Debbie,
yes.
thank you for everything. I'm sorry to leave early. I look
Well, I
forward to,
understand totally,
yes,
and you have a wonderful evening. Try to take some me time, and thanks for showing up and tuning in. Another great interview, Wayne. Another one. I love having you on, and welcome back. And
well,
I'm gonna see if Desiree wants to come on for a few minutes and talk. And it's so glad to see her in here. I told her today, I said, I'm so glad to hear a live human.
yes, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, good night,
Yep.
everybody. Yeah, Desiree's great. I know she'll have a lot of great stuff to say. She's an incredible advocate for animals and incredible animal rescuer too.
All right, that's great news. And she's been great to work with communicating, getting you on the show too. Can't thank
Yes.
her enough. And get stay in contact. I was excited. I hope you tune in tonight. I hope you listen in and join us. That's what I
Yeah.
tell them all, and get the word out there. Because as soon as this is over, I'll email you the new episode where the links is going to be on there. Okay,
Great.
and even
Okay.
with the podcast, the animal wellness podcast on there. Okay, and
Thank
it's
you so
going.
much.
Hey, I believe in teamwork all the way. That's what it takes, Dwayne. You
One
know, we have to
Hi,
work
100%.
together. Yes,
Yes.
go ahead, Mama Cat.
Debbie. I can take
Oh,
some
I'm sorry.
questions and we can
Yeah,
let
go
Wayne
ahead.
go.
Okay.
Okay,
Take care
yes.
now.
Thank you,
Thanks, Wayne.
Wayne. He probably had a huge day today, and he's got more to do.
He
But
does. He won't stop
oh my,
until he goes to sleep, which I don't
oh,
think he sleeps much. So anyway,
oh. But
did anybody have any questions? I'm happy to answer any questions. Of course, I'm not Wayne, but I am his right hand person, so I work with him all day, every day. So
that's wonderful. You got to be thankful for that. You're honored to work with him. So if anybody has any questions or comments, Desiree Bender, and will you tell the listeners what you do there at the Animal Wellness Action,
I
Desiree?
I live in Arkansas and I work from my home in Arkansas. I'm the chief of staff for Animal Wellness Action. I previously worked as the HSUS state director for years and years in Arkansas. And so I kind of dual role. I work as the Arkansas state director and I also work as chief of staff for Animal Wellness Action.
That
I
is
also have
awesome.
6 rescued
Yes.
horses. I have ran 2 animal shelters, one in Louisiana, one in Arkansas. I used to rescue pit bulls. I mean, you name it, I've done it. And now I work on
Wow.
legislation on a congressional level now. So
Wow, you're doing it all. Check you out. Thank you for all you do.
Well, thanks.
But yeah, but anybody wants to speak to Desiree, on the right hand corner lower, there's a mic icon or phone icon, and just press that to alert me you want to come on air. And if you have any comments or questions for Animal Wellness Action, Wayne had a big day today, and I know and he's not even done yet.
No,
So
he's not.
yeah, so he needs to get some rest and rest up for a new day tomorrow. And it's coming towards the weekend and all the hard work all you do. I mean, it's strong leaders and strong supporters. It goes into strong victories, Desiree.
It
You
does.
know,
It
and
does.
that's working together. That's how these victories happen, and they do happen. I've seen them happen many times, and that takes teamwork from the start to the finish.
Right.
You know,
Do you have a
yeah,
way of sending? I mean, I can come up with a document to just kind of recap the bills that we would love to people to call and or email their member of Congress and or U.S. senator to ask them to support, and I can give them kind of an overview of those bills, or I can send links that you can actually email your member of Congress or senator from our website as well, if you'd like to do that.
yeah,
It's
that'd be
super
great.
important that we pass laws. If we don't pass laws, we don't pass policy, then nothing really changes. I mean, we might save some animals here and there, but if we are not addressing the policy issues on a local, state, and federal level, then we're really not changing anything. So when we pass laws, we affect hundreds of thousands and up to the millions when it comes to wildlife and animals used in research. So it's just really important. And I, like I said, I've rescued animals for years, and my whole life revolves around animals. I have 5 dogs and 5 horses and 11 domestic geese, and so
Awesome.
yeah.
That's great. A big time animal lover. That's awesome. You
Oh
know.
yeah, my whole life
Yeah.
revolves around them, and thankfully,
Yeah.
I have a job where like the other day, my one of my 37-year-old rescued horse got down and she couldn't get back up, and I had to run to the farm and get a tractor and get her back up. And thankfully, I have a wonderful boss who understands those kind of things.
Right. Good. Yeah. Because you what 5 horses, 5 dogs. That's awesome. You know.
Yeah,
And
and all
they
my
probably
horses
love you
are
too.
well,
Yes.
yeah, they I take good care of them, but they have to mind. And I have big dogs. I've always had big dogs. I have a big rescued Cane Corso, and then I have 2 pit bulls and 2 mixed breeds. So
All right. I do have shows on pit bulls, because it seems like they get the bad rap a lot, and I'm always out there trying to get them to come on. And you know, you can't
right,
blame the breed; you got to blame the deed. You know,
right. Does
and they're
anybody
good
have
dogs.
any? Does
Yeah,
anybody
go
have
ahead.
any questions for me? I mean, as far as legislation goes, and I'd love to answer anybody's questions. It's so
Ye-
confusing when you're dealing on the federal level with legislation, and so there's no stupid questions out there if anybody has any.
I have
Yeah,
a comment for you.
go ahead,
Sure.
Mama Cat. That's Mama Cat. She's a former guest there, Desiree.
Oh,
She
okay,
helps
cool.
out. Yeah, go ahead, Mama Cat.
Have you
Yep.
heard of Arizona's SB 1658? It's Jerry's Law. They just passed into legislation
No, it got
to,
passed. I
yep,
haven't heard of it.
yep,
Arizona,
it's
what?
Arizona SB 1658.
And what is it? What
Jer-
is it about?
Jerry's Law. It defines what cruelty is for
Right,
the already existing legislation, but so many people are getting off because it never clearly defined
right,
what the hell that was,
right. So in
now it's
Arkansas,
clearly defined.
right. So in Arkansas, we were one of the last states to pass felony animal cruelty, and I passed it in 2009, which is to my death will be the biggest success of my life. Anyway, I was ridiculous about defining things. We defined adequate shelter. I mean, it was a huge definition, So this is
Right.
amazing because if you do not have good definitions, you don't have a good law. So That's great. I was just reading here. It include failing to provide necessary medical attention, bronzoscope,
Food, water, yep,
actions
shelter.
of failing. Yeah, that's amazing. That is great.
We
That's
need
great.
some more of that.
Yeah,
We have a lot of the laws that we are, as you I'm sure already know, a lot of the laws we have are adequate if they would define what the hell neglect or abuse is.
right,
And,
right,
that may sound silly to some people. Well, why would you have to, define it? Well, the reason is too many loopholes and
right,
people are getting off with no
right,
charges,
right, right,
and now that it's defined,
right.
I think it'll help. It's just an added layer for the animals.
It is, and that's the thing is, and you have to. So when we passed our law here in 2009, we also got $250,000 from the Attorney General's office to train law enforcement, and I had them print a pocketbook so that because law enforcement, they can't know all the laws at all. So they
Right.
have to have people there, or they have to have a easy to find guide on what the law reads. And usually, a lot of I don't know if does Arizona have dedicated animal cruelty investigators in their counties and all that
Yeah,
good
I don't
stuff?
know about that.
Yeah. Are you in Arizona?
No, I'm in
Uh,
Colorado.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I love Colorado. But yeah, so this is amazing. So that, yeah, just remember if any laws that you're working on, any bills to introduce bills to strengthen cruelty, you make sure that there are, really clear definitions. You're always welcome. If you know anybody that needs help, to reach out to me, and Wayne and I can look over it, because Wayne has more experience in all the states with passing legislation and than I do. But I do know about making sure that state legislation is written correctly. We also have attorneys that can go over things. So if you ever come across someone who's wanting to introduce or get introduced a bill to increase penalties or redefine things or anything like that, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask for our help. So because this is great in Arizona.
Yeah.
I was
Yes, it
in
is.
I was in Colorado, a couple of summers ago, I guess, gathering signatures for um, the big cat bill, the big cat initiative.
Yep.
Yeah, so I love Colorado. I didn't want to leave.
We've got another one right now that we're trying to get a vote on. It's I forget what the number of the bill is, but it's to stop tethering of sled dogs.
Oh, I didn't know y'all had a bunch of sled dogs there.
Yeah, we have a lot of sled dogs, a lot of you can go to these places and they take
Right,
you out on the rides or whatnot,
right,
whatever.
right. Well, that's
Um,
good.
but we already have anti-tethering laws here, but for some reason the sled dogs are exempt from that, and so they're still being tethered, and um, you know so that's the big one that they're pushing right now here.
So how
Obviously
do
the horses
clearly
too, but
clearly they define sled dogs, I guess.
as
Uh,
working dogs.
so
So
anybody could tie out their husky mix and say it was a working dog, or do they have to prove it? I guess.
I don't know. I just know that it's a big thing up in it's the high country. Of course, it's not down here. Um, but they don't. They tether them, and they're mostly tethered 24 hours a day unless they're working the
Hmm.
sleds.
Well, it's
So
because the people that use them, it's just like they pen up hunting dogs and stuff too all the time until they go hunting, because they want their energy to be at the total highest level when they actually work them.
right.
That's what their excuse is on it. So, but I
Well,
don't know if you.
another one of their excuses was intermittent breeding. They don't want them breeding. And whatever. I'm
Yeah,
sure they have their own breeding little programs, but that was one
yeah.
of the things they were saying. So
Well, and I'm sure, like most laws, that definition of working dog could even be tightened up further, so that it's truly, some kind of registered something, something, something. But yeah, we don't have an anti-tethering here. at all. It's something in Arkansas that it would take forever to pass here. Plus, in Arkansas, we don't have animal control agencies. We have 75 counties. Only 2 counties have animal control. So within those counties, of course, we have incorporated cities that have animal control. But in order to pass an anti-tethering law, you would have to have someone to enforce it. And so I'm not real big into passing laws that never get enforced. It's kind of
Right.
pointless.
See,
So
here we have a separate entity that does that. It's animal law enforcement.
yeah, that's amazing.
So they're separate from like the humane societies or
Right,
any of
right.
those, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, state laws are so amazing. I mean, they're just so important. I mean, even local ordinances, like where you live, your county or your city or your parish or whatever, you know, ordinances on that level are so important because again, you know, you can save a dog or cat from cruelty, you can save a horse from cruelty, but why did it get to that point? Clearly, we didn't have adequate laws or we didn't have adequate enforcement to make sure it you know, animals weren't near
inspection,
death or dead before we actually find out and actually go with prosecution of them. So,
right?
you know, it's and once you pass the ordinance and once you then follow up with an ordinance or a state law and making sure that it actually gets enforced and the law enforcement or whoever's enforcing it are actually really educated about it and have resources and people to reach out to if they need help. You know, it all kind of, you know, goes together. And so it's all really important. But passing laws is the
Right.
most amazing thing. Once you're part of
Well,
passing a law that helps animals for until you're gone and, you know, in the ground, it's pretty amazing to know that you pass a law and it will always be always be helping animals for the rest of time unless someone
right.
goes back and repeals it for some reason. So yeah, it's so important. So
Well,
that's
we
great.
didn't. All of our animal complaints and inspections and whatever used to lie on the laps of the Humane Society,
Yeah.
and they've got their hands full.
Yeah, and they're
And
nonprofits too,
so
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and no there was no inspections being done,
Right.
and that turned around here when we had, oh gosh, I have this brain injury and I don't remember a lot, but
I don't have a
we
brain
had
injury and I don't remember a lot. So there you go.
we had a huge farm. We had a huge farm out here, a horse farm, and
Yeah.
they found like 30 some horses. Many horses were already dead and just left
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the area, in the pastures and whatnot. But there was a very famous racehorse, Peppy something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember his name. I feel so bad. But that, thank God, well, not thank, you know what I mean. I'm glad that horse happened to be involved with this,
Yeah.
because it got nationwide attention
Right.
very quickly.
Right.
Because
They have
this was a horse,
tattoos and so you can
yeah,
always identify them. Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
somebody recognized this horse,
Wow.
but there was many, and they were all on the brink of starvation. They were
Yeah.
dying. They had no food, no water, no
Mhm.
care. People hadn't been there to check on them in weeks.
Yeah.
And there had been complaints made, several different complaints before finally a sheriff,
Right.
just took it upon himself to go out there. I mean, that's not his job.
Yeah. And
And
how many
he went
horses
out
was
there.
it?
I think it was like 35. I don't remember for sure. There was a lot.
That's a lot of money to rescue
Yeah.
those horses. Yeah.
And so, well, that was the thing. They went after them in the end for all the financial support that it cost to fix. A lot of the horses couldn't, not a lot, some of those horses could not be saved.
Right.
They were beyond,
Right.
they get
Right.
to that point.
Right.
But that is what forced the animal law enforcement
Wow.
here,
To be
because
formed?
people
Wow.
were
Yeah.
so appalled.
Yeah.
And this was right here, right just on the outskirts of the city limits,
Yeah.
that this happened. And to think that was happening right under everybody's noses, people were just,
Yeah. It's
It just was
terrible.
heartbreaking. And when you see the pictures of them poor horses, I mean, I just cried. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't think had it not been for that one horse, I believe it was a male, and I
Right.
think his name was Peppy something. It was a
So,
very famous champion horse, though.
right. So any racehorse, I don't care if it only ran one race. All thoroughbreds that enter the racing industry have a tattoo on their upper lip. You can go to what's called the Jockey Club and you can publicly look up that tattoo and you can find records on that animal. You can find who it belonged to, who it was sold to, all that good stuff.
Uh,
And so, and that was a result of a lot of bad actors doing bad things with those horses
yeah.
and thoroughbreds ending up on slaughter trucks too, which forced this to happen. The racing industry was forced to basically take responsibility for these animals and make sure that they don't end up on slaughter trucks and stuff, but they still end up in bad situations.
Oh,
So
yeah, they do.
I did a case in 2010 here and up in North Arkansas with 117 horses.
Wow.
And it was a auction guy who ran an auction, and
Oh,
he
boy.
would take people's horses and say he was going to get them a good home. There were
Yeah.
67 horses on 5 acres. Now,
Oh, my
you should
gosh.
never have
Whoa.
more than 2 horses per acre, and that's a lot. And that's
Yeah.
making sure they have hay all the time, even in the summer, because that's not enough land for them to graze on.
And
That's there
just
was
a disease waiting to happen there.
well they
Mm.
well here's the other thing. I didn't know anything about this until it happened, but they had strangles. Do you know what strangles is? It's
I've heard of it. I'm not real aware.
it's like parvo in puppies, if
Oh,
that
yeah,
tells
yeah.
you anything.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
It's horrible, but it's highly contagious. It lives in the wood, in the ground, just like parvo, and could stay there for years.
Oh,
So when we served the warrant on these horses, we have to have somewhere for them to go, temporary shelter for them to go and set it up until a judge decides that we can either get them released or a bond is paid. It's 117 horses, and I'm up in
wow.
northern Arkansas, and everybody I talked to that had any kind of facilities was like, there is no way you're coming near my place with those horses.
Right.
So we ended up going to an old sale barn that had been closed down for 5 years, and the sheriff in the neighboring county that had done some other cases with me, he had all his inmates go out there and clean it all up, and that's where we had them moved to. And we lost a couple there too, but we had the most beautiful horses, and they were all different. Some of them were rainbow, some of them were champion horses. We had a horse that was from the Pepto-Bismol line, which is a cutting horse, a famous cutting horse bloodline. It was just incredible, the horses we had. So, but you know
Just
what?
throw them away when you're done. What the
I
hell?
put $979 on a credit card to buy a truckload of hay from Missouri, and it lasted 4 days.
Ugh.
4 days. So, horses are very, very expensive, and they need land, and, it's just, and I always tell people, I said, I could have a really nice brand new car if I didn't have my horses. And I don't even ride them or anything. So it's not like I'm buying tack. We're just talking about feeding them and farrier and, all that good stuff. So, but
Yeah.
they're very
All
much
of
worth
those
it.
horses needed all of that.
Yeah.
They hadn't been cared for in a very long time,
Right. Yeah.
They
It's
said the
just,
complaints went back like 3 years that were
yeah.
never inspected. So
Yeah. The other thing when you're driving around and if you happen to see a really skinny horse and you think cruelty's happening, sometimes those horses are really old. So if you see a horse that's really thin and it's with 3 other horses in a nice pasture that are really healthy, most of the time that horse is just a
It's
really old
old.
horse.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're trying to keep weight on it, or they have just taken in a horse that's been rescued and they're working with it, because very rarely will you see 3 beautiful healthy horses and one skinny one together
Right.
that's doing anything like that. But it's just real important for everybody to, keep their eyes out when they're driving by or anything like that. There are times where people just get down on their luck, and they could use 5 bales of hay someone purchased and brings to them until they get back on
Well,
their feet. So
and that's what I was going to say. The people at the one I was talking about said that they just fell on hard times and they couldn't afford it and they couldn't buy it. And, places like Big R and the Tractor Supply Store stepped up and said, look,
right,
if anyone in this area or in the state
right,
needs straw or hay or whatever for their animals,
right.
call us.
Wow, that's
There
amazing.
are there are programs that we can do
Right,
so that you don't have your animals starving to death. There's no reason for that,
right, right. Well, that's a
And
good program too.
farmers will step up,
Right,
for other farmers. It's just how they work.
they will. Yeah,
So
but it's
good things came from that.
right. It's real important that we always geld horses too. I always say spay, neuter, geld. I don't leave off horses because we don't need any more horses in this world. We just don't.
Right.
And we
Right.
have the thoroughbreds being bred crazy like, and we have Quarter Horse Association breeding their horses. And the problem is it's like with breeding dogs. You might breed 2 labs for, leading the blind. Only one out of a litter of 6 is going to make it to being good enough to go lead a blind person. The
Right.
rest of them are just pets. Same thing happens with race horses or even, quarter horses. They don't all end up, in fact, very few of them end up being those stars that make a lot of money. And so it's heartbreaking actually that people, and a lot of people don't want a horse that is no good to them anymore, that can't ride or needs extra care because it's getting old or, that kind of stuff. So
We run into that with the wild horse roundups out here.
yeah, don't even get me started on the wild horses. I
Yeah.
can't. So
It's
anyway.
just ridiculous.
Well, there's lots of good things going on. There's lots of good people out there that are watching out for animals. And so if anybody has ideas like, what if we should pass a law like this? Then you just have to have the idea, get a hold of your representative in your state legislature and say, I'd like to introduce a bill that would address this. That's all you have to do.
Right.
And that
That's right.
representative agrees, and then you just help that representative with background. You reach out to experts, you do this kind of stuff, and you do the background for them, and it just kind of all falls into place. And it probably won't pass the first time around, but it usually will pass the second or third time around. So you got to try it too. I remember the first time when I was hired with HSUS, and they said, okay, you need to go pass a law at the Arkansas legislature. And I was like, I have no idea what to do to pass a bill. None. And I remember my boss at the time said, one session, one legislative session, you'll have it all down. And she was right. But I had to be up there every day and I had to learn things. I just had to learn it. I had to do it to learn it. And it's a very scary situation when you first get started. But once you learn it and you learn that all those people are up there representing you and your home and the people around you, they're there to help you. They're not there to do anything else. So it's easy to be shy and not speak out to your local sheriff or your local rep, your state representative or your state senator. You just have to keep in mind you're their boss.
And start at city council.
Right.
Get your practice in at city council.
You
That's where
can.
I started.
Right.
We're
And just going to city council meetings and
and
listening.
planning commissions and stuff
Right.
like that. Yep.
You're right. So
Oh yeah. Start somewhere,
right.
It's always a good idea. It's a positive, a foot in the right direction. Yep.
It sure is. It sure is. I'm sure we could talk for 5 hours on animal cruelty and laws and all kinds of
Oh
things.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna keep your name handy,
Sure.
Desiree, because
And Debbie has my phone number too.
Yes, I
I'm working
got
on
it.
some stuff
Yep.
here in town through the city council right now. So I'll if I need any assistance, I'll definitely be giving you and Wayne a ringy dingy.
Sure, no problem. I'd love to help, and he would love to help too. Just try to reach me before you try to reach him because he's almost impossible to reach. So,
Mine are normally about cats, but it's all good.
well, cats are extremely important too, especially
Yep, all of
especially we
them.
just had all this cold weather come through. We had Arkansas, we had like almost a foot of snow. We do not get. If we get snow here, it snows, it's pretty for a day. The next day it's 45 degrees and it melts off. This was a foot of snow and the temperatures dropped to 0 degrees. That's unheard of
Ouch.
Mm.
here.
That's
And
colder than
so,
we were in Colorado.
right, but in Arkansas, the animals here are not acclimated to even deal with
No, I
that.
know,
Like,
yeah.
I had so much bird food out of all my bird feeders. It was like birdemonium around here. I mean, birds were everywhere because they were hungry, and they need more food when it's super cold just to have energy to keep themselves warm. And so, yeah, it was really bad. And then, you know, I, I have a couple of feral cat colonies that I take care of, and I made these elaborate houses for them, like put crazy time and energy and money into them. So they were fine, but it always makes me think when I go home, like, what about all the cats that do not have anywhere to go? And, so, and you just have to pray for them, the ones you don't know about and you can't help. So, but cats are huge, a problem, a huge, huge issue. Everybody needs to be spaying and neutering them. We need spay and neuter clinics. I think y'all have access to that in Colorado, though, right? A lot of
Yep,
spay and neuter clinics.
yep.
Well, here's the
It's
thing, too.
it's getting a little bit less
Right,
since COVID.
right. Oh, yeah,
Um,
it was such a
you know,
difficult time. So the thing is, in the north, usually cats don't reproduce as quickly as they do in the south. So the
right?
south, they'll have more litters here because we don't have harsh winters, and so there's nothing. I mean, if they had a litter of kittens in the middle of dead of winter in Colorado, they're probably going to die because they're not
Yeah,
going to
they're
make
not
it.
gonna make it.
Here, they make it. They make it every time,
Oh yeah,
because the weather here, and so, it is. They can reproduce like crazy in the south, and so, and we don't have the resources that you guys do usually in the northern states either. So, but all we have so many different types of animals that all need different kinds of help. So, everybody just has to keep pushing on and keep showing up for them.
yeah. There's no shortage of animals that need our help. That's for sure.
There is not.
That's right. Nope, there's a lot. And ladies, I'm going to close down here. It's been another great show. And Desiree, I can't thank you enough for
Sure,
joining us. This
sure.
is wonderful. You did outstanding,
Well, thank you.
and keep following me. So the next time, hey, just email invitation for Podbean, click it, and you're in the queue. How's that?
Okay, sounds good. And it was great
Yes.
talking to y'all. And
Oh
I
my
hope
goodness,
everybody
it's
has a great
great.
evening.
Yeah,
Sounds
and you
good.
too. And
Okay,
thank you so much. Another great show, everyone. And tell Wayne I'll send an email and thank him again for
sure
coming
thing.
on.
Sure
He
thing.
did outstanding job too. I mean, he always does. I've had him on many times,
Right.
So yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, and feel free to come and join us anytime. Get on air. I tell all
Okay.
my former guests, hey, or callers, whatever, you're more than welcome to come on air. You know,
Right.
like look at Mama Cat. She comes in. She's been on the show and comes in and joins in. Appreciate that, Mama Cat. You know, meow.
Okay.
But
Well, y'all are great, and y'all have a great evening. I'm gonna sign off because I've got more work to do tonight too, as well. So we'll see
okay.
Thanks,
y'all later.
Desiree.
Hey,
All
thank you
right.
so much.
Sure.
Always welcome back. Okay, and join
Okay.
us anytime. Just
Okay.
and but I'll be sending as soon as I get this published. I will send you the new link with or the new episode with the links in there. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Y'all have a great
All right.
evening. Oh, and
And you
whoever just
too.
posted a picture of their pit bull, it's adorable.
Oh,
That's my
that's
baby
Mama Cat.
Bella.
Oh my God, I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. I love it. Okay, y'all have a great evening. See you later.
Thank you, Desiree. Thank you. And
Okay.
everyone, next week, I hope you join us at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Mountain, 4 o'clock Pacific, listening worldwide. Doll Stanley from In Defense of Animals will be returning along with Sharon Stone. Another great show, okay? And I hope you join us. And after the show gets published, when it gets out there, please go and feel free to listen and share. You can listen and share 24/7. and help build this podcast up. It's going on a year next month. And that something, Mama Cat, it went fast.
Real fast.
So, but anyway, Mama Cat, you ready? Go right
I'm
ahead.
ready. Paw
Go
in
right
hand,
ahead.
united we stand against all animal neglect and cruelty across the land. Good night, everybody.
Thank you so much. And how's the hubby doing? Tell him us to know if he's listening in, and keep the prayers coming, okay?
I'll
Because
tell them.
yep, because I know you're right by his side.
Yep.
But thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you tune in next week, every Thursday. And we got a great lineup as always with all these former guests that came on. Even you, Mama Cat, you rock, okay? And thank you always for all your support, all of you. It takes teamwork all the way. But hope everyone has a nice and peaceful and relaxing evening. And hope you tune in next week, okay? Thank you all so much. May God bless you all. With our voices, the animals will be heard. With our actions, the animals will seek justice. Goodbye, everyone. Night, Mama Cat. Mama Bear hugs to all of you.
Night, Darla. Good night.
Bye-bye now. Thank you all for joining us. Keep spreading the word. Getting the animals out of harm's way, right?